Streaming. It says we're live, but fuck knows. I still can't see me bastard screen though.
Let me see. Where are you?
Excellent connection, I think not. Oh, there we go.
Oh, let me see. Where are you?
Yeah, it is on. Alright, got it. Happy days. Now I'll just pop the chat out. I mean, I don't know if any fucker's going to turn up. I haven't actually scheduled this. I'm just doing it on a whim like I always do.
Sure, what the hell? I'm sure some bollocks will turn up.
There we go. So, I think we're live.
I can't find you at all.
What I'm thinking, you can't find my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, hold on, I got you now.
Hey, Fish.
Oh, fuck, fair enough. Yes.
Fish, you live on fucking YouTube. I think Fish lives in Susan Wojcicki's garage. Or he is Susan Wojcicki and he's trying to, like, you know, he's got a sock account.
That's it. Sometimes I think I live in the YouTube, but then I've got fuck all much else to do.
Right, so marvellous. If we're live, I can start with the plan. So the plan was, me and Al, once every month, last Saturday of the month, we're going to do whiskey and politics, and that's going to involve sitting here and talking shit, because we just like to shoot the shit, you know, and talk about the issues of the week while having a drink. So that's that. I think my screen should be all right. I'll just I'm trying to keep the news in the corner there, so people can sort of slowly follow along.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, it's a bit far out the way. I'll have to. There we go. Oh, now you can't see my handsome face. You'll have to move over a bit, Al.
That's a bloody shame. Which way do you want me to move?
No, I meant on the screen. You don't have to physically move. Right, there we go. There's the news. There's the chat.
It. Brilliant. More
or less. Maybe a bit over. Right, so that's the crack. I've explained it. First things first, Al, you have to tell us what you're drinking, because that's...
I am starting off nice and gentle tonight with a good old Irish Black Bush.
Black Bush?
Yes, because I'm wondering when they're going to come to try to cancel it because of the name.
What, you think it's talking about a black lady's genitals? Black Bush?
There has been a bit of drama in the whiskey world this week. So there has with, take it, you've heard of Jim Murray.
Of course, yeah.
Whiskey Bible. And now he's being sort of like almost cancelled because of some of his sexual descriptions of whiskey, and have been accused of sexism and objectifying women.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, right, I know that this is controversial because we're even cancelling people that have died 250 years ago. But don't you even think people should have a little bit of leeway from, like, you know, the 90s? Because if you watch movies and TV shows and shit from the 90s or the 90s, we just were a little bit more sort of coarse with our language. And it seems ridiculous to retroactively go back in time and have a go at people for doing things that were completely acceptable decades ago. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
He's been doing this for years and years. And then one whiskey writer picked up on it, made a whole big thing about it, and then all of a sudden distilleries started coming out. We don't want to be associated with this. People aren't going to distribute the book anymore. Now, I'm not a big Jim Murray fan, never was. Never bought the Whiskey Bible, and he's always been renowned for describing whiskey in not ways that I would, although sometimes it can get a wee bit.
So give me an example then, because I don't fully understand what you're talking about. What's wrong with the way he describes it? Does he use like sexual metaphors?
Of a 41-year-old Canadian whiskey, and he sort of described it. Have I had this much fun with a 41-year-old Canadian before? Well, yes, I have.
Not that bad then. Just like cheeky
not
humour.
Not that bad. But this whiskey was more fun. And then, what was the other one? He talked about, I think it was the one that actually won it, the Alberta Premium Rye cask strength. And he said it was like someone ejaculating in your mouth, you know. Something like that. and it's all stuff like that, and different whiskies. This is a lovely one-off experience. Like, it's a one-night stand. It's not one that you want to go on a date with and then marry. You know, all that sort of shit.
A 10 to 2 bird. That is perfectly reasonable discourse up until about fucking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's madness to me. Madness. Like, yeah, it's the definition of insanity to, like, for example, just to give you a one you like, as you're a copper or an ex-copper, it's totally been renowned, because I do know something about the law. You know me, I'm a well-read fella. Ever since Robert Peel, English common law, the foundings of the fucking legal system in the UK, we've never had retrospective legalese. So we've never ever said it's acceptable to make something legal, let everybody do it, and then make it illegal and then charge them for doing the thing that was legal at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dear, I'll have to let the dog out here. The light's in the way and he can't get out.
Go on then. You can bugger off. I'll talk to the boys in the chat. Ragnar, Bushmills whiskey is the world's greatest whiskey. That's a very subjective term, Ragnar. I think our Irish chum will disagree with you.
Well, if you get up through it, the 16 and the 21's not too bad, but...
It's not the greatest whiskey the world's ever known, though, is it? Even I don't think that.
No, it's not. Fuck me. Redbreast 12, cask strength 21 for Irish would be right up there.
And that's what I had weekend before last, Redbreast 12.
Yes,
oh, no, 21. Fucking good shit, that.
Yeah. Bloody expensive, though.
Yeah, well, it tastes better when someone else is buying me it. I find that my taste buds are linked. It
tastes better when you're somebody else buying it.
My taste buds are linked to my wallet. You know, like when you're a bairn and you pinch milk off someone's doorstep. The milk tastes better if you steal it. I swear down, it's true. I used to be walking to school and we'd nick a bottle of milk and I'd swig it and it was like, I'd be like, whoa, it tastes great. It's like the milk left at the bottom of a bowl of Frosties. Tastes like it's been premium milk.
That's it. Well, you're below the age of criminal consent then, so you're all right. They're not coming looking for you to extradite you for that admission now.
I'll tell you what a funny story. It just
but
reminded me. Just reminded me about that. I remember when I was a lad, we were walking to school, and my mate Rob pinched a bottle of milk off someone's doorstep, and he was chugging it as we were walking along talking, and he handed it over to my other mate who was like, "Gives a bit," and literally the second he put it in his hand and took it away, the fucking bloke ran round the corner and he was like, "You fucking little cunt," and he ran over and started proper battering him. And the funniest thing was, as he was spinning him around and lamping him, he was holding the milk bottle out, like desperately trying not to spill any. So the guy's punching fuck out of him and he was like, oh. And then he leaves him in tears with milk all over the floor and walks off. And we were just pissing ourselves laughing, being like, what were you guarding the milk for? Do you think he's going to take it back off you and put it on the fucking kid's cereal?
Yeah.
After some little scruffy twat's been drinking it out of it.
That's it. Like, I've had a couple of fucking incidents this week. I don't know what it is. I think I'm going to just stay in all next week and not fucking drive. Was it Wednesday, Thursday? I was going to pick the wee woman up from school.
Yeah.
2-lane, one-way street. Guy cuts in front of me. Toot the horn. Next thing, the fucking door flings open and he comes rolling up to the window to start shouting and swearing at me. Well, he was fucking Romanian too.
Oh.
What's your problem? You fucking cunt! You fucking cunt!
Being somewhat xenophobic, I like to be abused by a red-blooded British man.
It was kind of funny.
I'm kidding, of course. I don't mind who. I'm confused as to why you're so bothered that he was a Romanian. If someone's swearing and being abusive, surely it doesn't really matter what his nationality is.
Yeah, so I had an afternoon out with the wee woman there, and we were coming back up from the next town down in Newcastle, down the main street, row of slow-moving traffic. I go out round it. One of the fuckers in the lane, out in front, stand on the brakes again. The wee woman's eating her chicken nuggets and chips all over the fucking car.
Oh, no.
And there's sauce, red sauce on them. Oh, Jesus.
You know what, Mum?
She's just like started and then she starts bawling.
Bawling?
Aye.
Well, she's only a band.
You know, so a couple of wee drops of whiskey will sort her out.
Right, back to the chat. We've got some more whiskey talk. Paz apparently has good taste in booze. He said he's drinking Glenfiddich Solero 15.
Oh,
I'm telling you. That's a posh. That's quite a posh one for a sheepshagger.
I know, but it helps the easy end of the sheep.
Yeah, exactly. I've got loads of jokes about that. I'll tell you one because I think I've done the other one I told you about, the one whose car breaks down. I've told you that one, right? It's like an Eskimo. He's going sightseeing, and he's driving his VW camper van round the valleys in Wales. And his camper van breaks down, so he rings the locals and he says, I need a mechanic. Welsh bloke turns up. He's like, all right, mate, what's the matter, boy? Oh, he says, oh, my fucking van's broke down. He says, have a look at it for me. He says, pop the front, I'll get it up for you. So he opens the bonnet, has a quick look. 10 seconds, he goes, I know exactly what you've done. He says, you've blown a seal. He says, you shag sheep, you cheeky cunt. Anyway, so he's got good taste in booze. Who else have we got drinking whiskey here? There's a few more actually joining in. Well, not maybe joining in, but they're all drinking whiskey. I guess we just have a lot of pissheads follow my channel.
Aye, well, sure, it doesn't do any harm.
I'm not a snob. I drink Johnny Walker Black. That's all I drink. It's like once you get to 40, you've decided what you like. And I'm not really that into whiskey. I drink a load of beer.
Politics. Yep, on the Bushmills too.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Yep, I was watching a couple of your videos earlier on. Good stuff.
Right, so Bushmills, yeah, not bad. Again, I think, like I told you, my missus says I've got no taste buds at all. Like, she constantly has a go at me and says I can taste nothing. I do think it's a valid hypothesis because I remember once being out boozing in Plymouth and I got a pint. I was like slightly ahead of the two lads I was in a round with. And I supped it and I was like, not very nice, that shit pint in here. And just cracked on drinking it. And then obviously they caught me up when I'd done about half my pint. And as soon as it got near his face, he went, fucking hell, it's full of fucking line cleaner. And everyone looked round at me and I'm like halfway down the fucking pint. And I was like, I thought it was just a shit pint. Like, so I've got no taste buds. I think I melted them all using all the dangerous collection of hot sauces we used to go through in like Iraq and Afghanistan and places like that. It sort of becomes a competition to see who can have the most out there sauces. So I've melted them. So whiskey, I merely like it. It's like I'll drink any fucking thing with booze in. Whiskey, gin, rum, vodka. Like I can't really say I have a preference of one over the other. Or maybe it's just degenerate 15 years of alcoholism, generations of pissheads in the family. I don't know what it is, but I can't say I have a preference for whiskey. Like I like it, but I like anything with booze in, really.
I'll just have to work on you.
Maybe you can culture me. But, you know, rum, gin, vodka, whiskey, any fucking thing will do me.
Yeah. I'm the same pretty much, apart from gin. Ugh.
Don't like gin?
No, fuck no.
My missus got me into it. It took me out in London and went to some fancy place where they make their own gin. And and it was off a Frenchman, which I'll never get over that my favourite cocktail was off a Frenchman. But this fucking French knobhead made me this fancy G&T with like Earl Grey tea in it. It was like gin tonic and a bit of tea and some fucking juniper or whatever shit they put in it. And I was chugging it and it was spot on. Nice sunny day. It was about a pint's worth and I was like, bosh, it was fucking well nice. So again, I'll drink any fucking thing. I've never met an alcohol I don't like. I even like ouzo or what's that shit they gave me when I was in Denmark? Gameldansk. Have you ever had Gameldansk?
Oh fuck no, I haven't had that. I was some awful Icelandic shit. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was bloody rank. But I drank it anyway.
Brooke Benson said anyone in here not drink. I don't
Yeah.
think with British and Irish people you're going to find many people who don't fucking drink.
No,
Brooke
that's
must
true.
be an American. He must be.
Fuck. Aye, sure they would drink methylated spirits here for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but I've told you that's why we are terrible at everything. We're terrible at sports. We're terrible at like invention. We're shit at everything because of our toxic drinking culture. You know, the likes of Ronaldo go the whole career drinking Perrier water, and all of our top footballers are like fucking George Best or Paul Gascoigne. It's like they're only playing football so they can drink 40 pints after the game. You know, burn off the calories.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Oh, fuck.
Right, so we'll have to do some politics instead of just talking about booze all the time,
Oh,
or else I would just call it whiskey.
That's
Whiskey,
right.
not whiskey and politics. Right, so the first thing I did want to talk about, because it is relevant to, you've got some relevant experience being a former copper, is the shooting. Now, I have a mate in the, well, I've got more than one mate in the Met, but I've got a bit of intel on it, right? And this is what I've heard. Apparently, yeah, just giving you the first paragraph from the BBC. It says a long-serving police officer has been shot dead at a Croydon custody centre in South London. Male sergeant shot in the chest. Exactly verifies what I heard, which was it was two like rookie coppers who arrested this guy because they found ammunition on him. So they found apparently they found one round of ammo in his pocket, and obviously that's a target indication. It's like the fucker's got a round on him. So they arrested him there and there on the spot, didn't search him. So like he had ammo on him and they didn't search him thoroughly, put him in the back of the van. Apparently he's in the back of the van, they pulled up at the custody centre, and now with COVID-19 restrictions, the crack is Stripey comes out when they've been arrested, opens the back of the van and gives them a quick, I think takes the temperature or something.
Yeah.
Outdoors. So the bloke walks out the back with his mask on, ready to take his temperature, and the second he opened the back of the meat wagon, the fucker put 5 rounds into him. And
Jesus.
then apparently fucking slotted himself.
I wonder, was he even handcuffed? He was. It said he was handcuffed.
He was handcuffed.
But probably to the front.
Yeah, easy.
You should
Even
always handcuff to the rear. You should always handcuff to the rear.
Even if it's behind you, though, if you're skinny, you can easily just sit down
even
and pull your
when you're
hands
handcuffed to the front, you can still get over the neck and shit like that. But like, there's no.
See, Richard Diddler said not allowed to search non-whites. I don't know if that's true, but I do know that the police now are constantly worried about optics and political correctness. They're really concerned about it. So I don't doubt for any minute that it will be playing on the minds constantly, and they'll think maybe we should sort of cut them a bit of slack. You know what I mean?
That's right. There's no doubt they do get an awful lot of hassle about it, and the stop and searches have gone away down. Sure, look at the rise in knife crime, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's because they know chances are they're not going to get stopped and searched. You know, and it's not like I was over there for 3 years. Anytime we were out and did that and we were a response, it was just because the area you were in or what was going on, you didn't give a shit what colour they were, or, you know, it was always had to be done in the correct way. And but when you start bringing politics into policing, you're fucked, because it automatically creates difficulty for the people on the ground, and then the pansies at the top are so fucking lily-livered that they will throw you under the bus just to appease the fucking mob.
The mob.
And it's bloody ridiculous. But to not search somebody after you arrest them, especially when you find ammunition on them.
I know. Well, here's something else. More inside intel. I've also been told that they've now fully wrapped on even doing face-to-face interviews, and they're actually hiring people to begin training purely after a phone interview. So they're literally ringing people and going, "Do you want to be a copper?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they go, "You're fucking hired." Like, and this is what I keep telling you, right? It's my opinion is not just about political correctness and all that nonsense. I honestly think 75% of this is going to be down to the drop in standards, i.e., you know, and I do know something about this because when I was a teenager, I was in the Territorial Army. I did that when I was like 16, 17, with a view to joining the Marines. And when I was 18, I went through the process, and you go down to your PRMC, which is your Potential Royal Marines course. You go down to Lympstone for a week, and they fucking beast you for a week.
Yeah.
And you join, and even that little process, that little 5-day process, the starting recruits in the Royal Marines compared to the Army, where you don't have a PRMC course, it's mind blowing. Like, you go down there and get thrashed senseless for a week, and it is bad. I remember because I was with an Irish lad called Jack. He joined up a couple of weeks after me, and he was on my PRMC, and I always remember him spewing down the front of his t-shirt because they said you're not allowed to vomit when you're in the gym getting thrashed. And the thrash does that much. We were all fucking dying. Like, I'd gone white and I thought I was going to faint. And he spewed down the front of his shirt. It was really, really hard just the 5 days PRMC. And it separates the wheat from the chaff. You get lads down there turning up on the PRMC who, honestly, it's like they've never even heard of a Marine and they don't know what they do. There was like a big fat Geordie with a headband on going like, "Way, hey lads," and he was like, 8 stone overweight. And there was lads there who couldn't swim. Like, it was a nightmare. So you have to have hurdles, increments, to make sure that your core joining group is up to scratch. And the police... If the police have really basic standards, like a thorough interview with like 3 people, an IQ test, like a lengthy exam for an hour, like they do over here, and then some sort of like 2-day potential Met officers course, just to separate the absolute shite out, you would not be getting this type of thing. And when they've moved away from hiring proper coppers to these graduates that are scared of their own shadows, like... Of course you're going to get all this lowering of standards. Like, I mean, seriously, you know this as well as me, because you joined back in the day. Women who are well educated, of course they have the uses, but they shouldn't be the backbone of the force. The backbone of the force should be physically fit, relatively young, men who are streetwise. They're the ones who are out on the beat, patrolling the ground, slamming the turf, catching the criminals. I'm not saying we couldn't have women. I'd say you could have like 25% of them could be clerks, detectives, DIs, women, like people who need to do all of that stuff. But the core of your force out on the ground needs to be tall, fit, strong, young men who will chase criminals and deter people. And I swear down, you know what hammered this home for me? Do you remember when they had the Novichok virus thing in Salisbury, where the Russians fucking twatted them defectors? I remember seeing on the BBC, armed police stand guard on the thing, and it showed the fucking house, and I swear down, outside the house, 2 little fat dwarfs with fucking MP5s. It was like little fat ginger midget women as well, both women, little fat women outside the house, and I was like, oh yeah, I bet the KGB are shitting themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like we have a shortage of ex-Marines and paras and squaddies who would be perfect for the job of patrolling the streets. And again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up their arse. There's some fucking idiots in the Marines and the paras as well, especially the fucking paras. They do eat crayons, them cunts. But I'm biased. Of course, there's some logs, but you have a basic procedure. At least those lads are streetwise. They're not scared of their own shadow. I know it sounds ridiculous, but fear makes you make mistakes. I keep saying that. Whenever you watch the shooting videos in America, the hands are always shaking. Never been in a fight before. If you get lads like me, you get lads who've deployed, who've seen a bit. When you see something like that happens, you're calm and you're focused. And I'm not having to go to the police, but I've seen it. One of the really famous shooting videos out here was a guy called Breonna Taylor. And I remember the body cam, and his hands are all over the place. He's like, freeze, because he's shitting himself. And it's like you need people that are streetwise, a little bit world weary, and very physically fit and active, because even that engenders confidence in you. If you're a little fat dwarf, you're going to be frightened, and when you're frightened, you make mistakes. Yeah. So we really, I agree with you in that it's part of that, and it is also part of just the very basics in recruiting. It's do the basics, get people who are a bit streetwise, who aren't terrified of their own fucking shadow, not a black disabled lesbian with a fucking Latin degree. Like, what does that help you do when you're policing?
That's it. You want a colleague that's going to have your back, but you don't want to be the first in through the door and somebody's trying to beat the living shite out of you, and then you sort of look around and the other pillars fucking going that way,
I know.
And like I can resonate with that too, because I've been in a couple of shitty situations, and you do get that eerie sort of calmness comes over you, and you really have to be in the situation to know what it's like, and you just get on with it. And but as for searching people, like I've missed a couple of things on arrests, when you go into the custody suite and then they give them the fill over, but they were usually up their arse, and I'm not going there, like. And there was fake diamonds in the toes of somebody's shoes once, so.
Yeah, but I'm not being fully out. That is not a cardinal sin, because you're not going to fit a fucking Beretta up your shit locker. I'm not as
not unless you've been a fucking rampant homosexual for like
not
fucking 20 years
Yeah.
and well, I get every which way, but
Yeah.
well, loose.
Yeah. Boy George with an arse like the top end of a welly, he could fit a fucking Uzi up his shit locker, but most people, no. So not the crime of the century, that Al. Don't be too harsh on yourself.
No, because fucking talking about Uzis, I'm not sure if I told you this one before. I might even said it in the last stream. We called the Tesco all night down in Kensington, fucking open all night. This boy that called us in, 2 bottles of fucking body wash, you know, £1.20 or something like that. They caught him trying to steal it, and it's like fucking 5 or 6 in the morning. And every other crew in the borough is in with arrests, and we're the only crew. And like I says to the manager, fuck if I'm going to arrest him for £1.20, like, you know, catch a bloody grip.
Yeah.
You know, but right enough, he has committed the offence. So while he's talking to him, Frenchman says, I'm not going to pay for it. I says, fuck me, mate, it's only £1.20. I fucking pay for it, you know. So then he puts his hand in his pocket and he pulls out like a big bundle of fucking notes. So had a bit of a yarn with him, spilled his guts, was in the French Foreign Legion. They fucked him over, wasn't a happy chappy. The whole fucking life where nobody ever wanted anything to do. And I said, look, mate, don't fucking worry about it. You're not going to get in trouble for this. Just pay that and go on your way. So I talked away when he had this like wee like old like army bag sort of thing over his shoulder, like a wee school bag you would have taken to school with you, you know, a wee satchel. And I was fucked off. It had been a long shift. I just didn't want to be arsed for this shit. So we got it all sorted out. Walked out with him. He went on his way. Off for 4 days. Back in the next set of shifts. This fucker was the first one up in the morning briefing. He had been detained in the next borough. And this just stopped and searched. And in his little satchel was a fucking Uzi. Fully loaded, ready to go.
Fuck me.
And he's like, thank fuck I didn't arrest him. He probably would have riddled me.
Fuck me. That's no joke. That a fucking Uzi.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no joke. Well, I think we can sort of draw a line under the copper one, but I think we can both concur that the real problem here is twofold. It is what we both said. I'm down with yours, which is it's definitely down to this sort of political correctness. It's going to be in the back of your mind all the time. And it's also down to what I'm talking about with regards to lack of training, lack of standards, all about education and not about ability, physicality, all that type of thing. So definitely, I agree with you. I agree with you on both of them counts. What else is a big deal? Oh yeah, this Louisville shooting. I'll talk about this just because this is a bigger deal in America, but it is still relevant to UK and even Irish politics because the internet has shrunk the fucking world. And if it kicks off over here, it kicks off over there. Because these academics brainwashing kids in universities from fucking Dublin to fucking Dubai. Like, it's just mad. And I'll tell you what's funny about this. Breonna Taylor, you must have heard her name. They're all going on about it.
Oh, yep. Oh, I know all about it.
Right? Yeah. The boyfriend opened fire on the police first. First round shot in that engagement was from her fucking boyfriend. And the way they're talking about it, you would think, all I heard when the BBC initially reported was like, oh, they went to issue a warrant and they got the wrong house and they blew her head off. And I was like...
And she was sleeping in bed.
Yeah, and I was like, hang on. So the actual, if you go through this, the BBC's still trying to do the best to like downplay, because if you go down the story, they say, he only fired 1 round. Like, where's that thing? It was like, he only fired 1 round and they fired 7 back or something. And it's like, yes, but he shot a copper. Like, they went and break the law, shot him in the leg, and they returned fire, and she got killed. Obviously, it's sad because she didn't shoot the copper. But fuck me, like it's not even a news story, really. The amount of people who get shot in America on a daily basis, and if the sentence starts with they opened fire on the police and the police retaliated, that's not really a story. If you don't want to get shot, don't fucking slaughter copper. But don't fucking tell me when this dipshit opens fire on the cops, they return fire and hit his girlfriend. They're like, oh, they murdered her. What the fuck are you talking about? That's like saying when Jeffrey Dahmer ate some cunt, Jeffrey Dahmer's victim's in the wrong. Like, oh, he didn't even baste his kneecap before Jeffrey was chewing on it, the fucking prick. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. So what do you think about that? How is that even a story?
It's like, I've watched a couple of streams about that of people talking about it. And when you see it, like Tim Pool, and then there's Viva Frey.
Oh, watch him, yeah.
Barnes, yep. And they were talking about it. And it's like, when you see what's really going on, and then you look what the media says is going on, you're like, how the fuck can these people read and see the same things but have totally different viewpoints?
It's crazy.
It's because the media is so fucking biased, and they want to stir up all this shit because it suits their fucking agenda. And it's like, a no-knock warrant, yes, but they knocked, so they didn't serve it as a no-knock warrant. He fucking fires at the police
first,
hits a police officer. Yeah. Do you think the police officer who's gone down, his fucking college are just going to say there, oh fuck, we didn't like that cunt anyway, we'll just let him bleed out? And
it's fucking, it's mental, absolutely mental. I'll tell you what, this is what I'm talking about. The world's gone mad, and we've devolved into tribalism. And the reason we've devolved into tribalism is because when it's took over everywhere, you have to pick a side. And I'm a proper fencer, as you know, I've just talked about it. I'm always like, I don't see it as a bad thing, because I'm a naturally argumentative person. I'm an ENTP. I love a debate. I love an argument. And I like to digest everything and read everything to the point where, like I told my missus, the reason I started a YouTube channel is because I just like talking shit. But I also like arguing. And I'd like to sit behind a desk and do that thing where you see people saying, like, I will argue about anything for $1. Like, I'd love to do that. And I honestly feel like if someone said to me, tell me why I should vote for Trump, I could do as good a job of that as I could do of tell me why I shouldn't vote for Trump. It's not that I'm trying to sit on the fence, but I love an argument and I love to do both sides of it. So in my head, I do both sides of every argument. And regarding this type of thing, they're constantly making me defend Donald Trump and constantly side with the likes of Alex Jones. Like 5 years ago, when he's talking shit about everything, I'm like, oh, he's a fucking lunatic. And now it's like you're making me defend him because they're so fucking dishonest.
The media. He was fucking crazy. They've taken it to a whole new fucking level. It's unreal.
The media is so fucking dishonest. It's unbelievable. And what they do, right, they don't just fully make things up entirely. But it is lying because it's lying by omission. And a really good example of that is, like, obviously, the Daily Mail don't lie. When the Daily Mail runs a story like, oh, yeah, a Nigerian woman gets £350,000 surgery on the NHS and she lives in a £2 million council house and she came over illegally. That's not a lie. It's all true. They just dig around looking for the right-wing stories that please their right-wing base. But it's not a lie. So when the Guardian, and the same goes for the corollary, right? So when the Guardian readers are like, oh yeah, it was in the Daily Mail, as if that's a fucking rebuttal. You go, look at this story, all the facts, and they go, yeah, Daily Mail, as if that's a rebuttal. It's true. They just go hunting for it. And I'll meet the left halfway. Most of the shit in the Guardian is true. They just go hunting for it. And then they editorialise it in a way that pleases their readers. So I'm not having to go at either of them for that. But lying by omission is the crime of all the mainstream media now. The BBC, CNN, The Guardian. That is lying. It's not as direct as lying as in, I don't know, getting caught in bed with another woman and saying she slipped and landed on it. But it is lying. And some of the most famous incidents, I mean, look at the one with, did you ever see the one where the woman said, don't smash up the city, go to the white neighbourhoods, tear their shit down. And that was like one sentence. And it was on CNN out here. And they reported it as, a plea for peace. And it shows her and she's going, don't smash up the neighbourhoods. And then it cuts. Like they cut it there. So she goes, don't smash up their neighbourhoods. Cut her off mid-sentence because the end of the sentence was, go to the white motherfuckers' neighbourhoods and smash the shit out of them. And they reported it as a plea for peace. And I'm like, see what you didn't dub it. Like, it would be worse if they dubbed it. So she's like, motherfucker. And they're like, I think we should be nice to white people. It wasn't that, but it was fully lying by omission. And that's what they do. And Trump's peace deal as well. You know, the Camp David Accords back in the fucking, when was that? The 60s or something.
Aye.
That was big news. It was on the news for a fucking month. And then Trump's managed to pull off this peace deal, which I never saw coming. And again, I'm not looking for ways to defend the man. But that is a great thing, and it's a historic thing. And no fuckers even talked about it. Like, I literally couldn't find it on the BBC.
That's it. It's just a distraction, sure, man. Just a distraction.
It's mad as fuck, though, isn't it? It's lying by omission. So Breonna Taylor gets shot in a foreign country, or George Floyd, and the BBC puts it up on there for a fucking month. And the word is as negatively as they can on the part of the police. But then something good happens, and they don't lie about it. They don't say Trump Trump gassed a Jew and threw him down a well. They don't just lie, but they don't tell you when he does anything good. So it is lying. It's lying by omission.
And that's it. Sure, what did the BBC do yesterday? Police officer shot dead in London. Go live to fucking Louisville.
I know.
Breonna Taylor stuff, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, back in the day, police officer gets killed, particularly London, it's big fucking news.
Big news.
See, now it's just like, oh, it happened, we'll bring you the latest update, and all the people will roll out and say all this shit about you. It's like, I've had on the computer here, and I've said to the wife, if somebody ever fucking takes me out, you know, I had it when I was still working, and it's still there now. It's not, here's what I want for my funeral, here's who I fucking don't want. You know, because I don't want somebody coming or somebody making a statement saying, fuck Hall was a great fella, you know, he's a very dedicated officer like that. No, if he didn't fucking speak any good about me when I was alive, I don't want him to say anything about me when I'm fucking dead, you know.
Yeah. You know what you reminded me of saying that was when I was in Iraq. I was out there when, again, you'll probably remember because you're an older bloke and we read newspapers. Do you remember a big, massive story? And again, back in the day when the world was saying this type of thing was on the news for a week, when that Scouse bloke got his head chopped off by Abu al-Zarqawi. And I remember the name of the guy, Zarqawi, because we killed him a few years later. He got killed, and what was his name? What was the name of the guy? I swear it's on the tip of my tongue because I remember joking about it to my gaffer. But Ken Bigley.
That's it,
Bigley. Ken Bigley. Yep. Ken Bigley got his head lopped off, right? And I remember doing an briefing out there, and I said to the boss, I've had intelligence that Ken Bigley's actually here in Baghdad. And he went, fucking hell, I haven't heard that. He said, where did you get that from? And I went, but his fucking head's in Fallujah. And he was like, we're talking about a man's life, Carl Taylor. But
I know, but that's the humour you have when you're in those situations.
Yeah, like, gallows humour.
The humour of the police was fucking shocking. Like, and the thing is now, I'm glad I'm not there because you wouldn't fucking get away with it now with these new ones coming in. You know, you would be.
Gallows humour. And again, I've got nothing against that guy. It's obviously sad when you get killed, but something like that is, you know, it's a big news and it's reported. And now we just live in a crazy time. Like, it doesn't, whether or not it's big news is completely irrelevant on all of the mainstream media. It's, is this good for my side of politics? And if it isn't, we won't report it at all. Like I said, the fact that peace deal's just no one even knows about it unless you're fucking like us and you actually have to really put real effort in to get the facts nowadays. And like I said, that annoys me because that's why it's got tribal. You have to pick a side. They're making me pick a side. I'm a centrist and I lean left in loads of ways, but they're forcing me to. And if you're going to force me to, then I have to pick one. And then I'm going to go with the people that seem to be a little bit more open to discourse and speaking, freedom of speech, the bedrock of any society, and the left are closing people down. And do you remember when it all started a few years back in England when that nice old fucking fella got sacked and cancelled because he made a joke about women crying if they work in the lab with him? About fucking 6 or 7 years ago. That was when the rot really started, and it's like, I'm not siding with those people. I'd rather side with white nationalists who will at least say, some black activist wants to come here and have a chat with us, let's beat him in the argument. they'll at least have the argument with him.
That's right.
They'll say, like, we're getting replaced, and they'll go through all their arguments and they'll have the debate, but the left won't even let you have a conversation. So fuck them. Like, if you're going to make me pick, I'll pick.
This is how you're fucked. It's misinformation, it's disinformation, it's omission, and then you've got the other side of it too, which is fucking appeasement.
Yeah.
And once you start appeasing,
and didn't we learn that doesn't work?
Fucking slope, it does not work. You appease, you give a bit, you give a bit, you give a bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, we've given that much. We're never getting anything back.
No. And after Neville Chamberlain and the fucking Nazis, how can you believe that British politicians are appeasing them? Didn't we learn it doesn't fucking work? Again, no one knows any history. And this is what I keep saying about the communists now. They don't know any history. Because any young person, they know loads from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, but they don't know any history. And that's why they think Ruth Bader Ginsburg invented fucking women's rights. It's like, who the fuck is this Johnny come lately? She rocked up in like 1993. And then I seen a fucking meme, which you seen I put on my YouTube page, saying, oh yeah, if you played sports in high school, thank Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I'm like, pretty sure the fucking girls were playing soccer in 1980, you silly cunt. Like, they're just living in an alternative reality. And that's why that's how you know that they don't know anything about history. They don't know anything before about 1960. Because if they did, they would know that communism and Marxism has a death count that's triple anything the far right's ever got near. Yeah. Like, they're like
fucking worse than COVID.
Fucking hell. Chairman Mao by himself doesn't touch Hitler and fucking Pinochet's like a fucking... It's like he was waddling around the nursery by comparison. Pinochet, compared to like fucking Mao or Stalin, is seriously like, he just, I don't know, he ran a fucking ice cream van. Like, what a splendid fellow he was, the general. Like, you just have to look at the basic maths. And again, this is what I say to anyone who's like centre or centre left. Just do the maths. They always talk about how, like, you know, all these different philosophies are about, you know, you can get into the weeds on any argument, and if you really philosophise and really get into it, you can make almost anything make sense. That's true if you're a postmodernist fucker, but things like mathematics are universal truths. So just use the maths argument. I just say do the maths. Count how many people the right wingers, extreme right, have killed, and count how many the extreme left have killed, and whoever's got the lowest one, go with them.
Yep.
It's logical.
But they don't like logic or facts. They just want to go off on their wee wishy-washy, pishy crap and try to, fuck your mind up with words and sentences that nobody really knows what the fuck they're talking about. And they just bring you down to they beat you with stupidity, because you're like, unless you have the facts and you've done the research, you're just like, what's this cunt talking about?
I do think, though, you know, I don't know what it was like when you were in school, but I think the real problem is that they started through the educational institutions, because even when I was a kid in Middlesbrough in high school in the 90s, we learnt all about the Nazis and the fascists and the far right. We learnt all about them, but we didn't learn fuck all about communism. Like, I didn't learn about Mao and Stalin and the Holodomor and all shit like that until I was like in my 20s, and I started reading about politics of my own back. Like, so I think the real problem is maybe it's because if it wasn't for the Russians under Stalin, if it wasn't for them helping us, we would never have beat the Nazis. So I think for some reason we went easy on the far left, the sort of Marxist and communist ideologies. We left them alone, and we spent 5 decades arguing about the ills, teaching people about the ills of the far right and Nazism and fascism. Yeah. So every kid in England knows who fucking Mussolini is and they know who Hitler is, but they don't have a fucking clue about the Great Leap Forward. They don't know Mao is. They know fuck all about Stalin. It's like, we need to get back to the middle there and teach both sides of the argument, because it's sexy now. And it's like walking around with a communist flag with the death toll that it's got should be as fucked up as walking down the street with a Nazi flag. And it isn't at all, is it? Like, if you see a bloke walking down the street in England with a Nazi flag, like, he's fucked. He won't make it 10 minutes down the road. Communist flags are everywhere, and people go, they'll grow out of it soon. It's like they fucking kill everyone. It is the destroyer of civilizations.
Yep.
It annihilates them. And that's what it's doing now. Everyone's getting pissed off. Everyone's getting tribal. The far right's rising because the far left, in response to the far left, and they're going to make everybody pick a side. And if they don't fucking get a grip of it, the far right's going to be fucking 10 million strong, and they're just going to boot the shite out of all these spotty fucking students. And again, I always say that. Who do you think's going to win that fight? And they keep going on like, oh yeah, we'll fight them in the streets. It's like, well, before the rise of the Nazis, they fought the fucking left in the streets, didn't they? And the fucking Nazis won. Yep. And if you for a second think that a load of spotty students, middle-class, spoiled, heavily moisturised students, are going to beat a bunch of fucking hairy-ass scaffolders, because they're the type of people who become the fucking right wing. You know, you go to Middlesbrough, the pubs are full of rough-as-fuck blokes who work in, like, steel mills and scaffolders and fucking bricklayers and stuff. And they're the ones who you see the hilarious videos on YouTube of, like, a load of communists trying to stop them getting to work. And you see some fucking scaff just lose his rag and just wade through them like an enraged silverback while these little puny students are bouncing off him like by children. It's like, how do you lads think you're going to win the argument? Like, they seem to be fixing for a fight, and they don't realise that if it really kicks off, they definitely will lose. But there's no way.
Fuck. My first year in high school was like a battle for fucking survival, because the guys in fifth year who weren't going to go on to do their sixth form and all that and be the like head boy or head girl.
Yeah.
They were really fucking wild. You know, you come into the cloakroom and you put your head up above the fucking where you were hanging your coat, you're gonna get hit by a fucking golf ball or a bin or something, you know?
Yeah.
There was fist fights with the teachers and oh Jesus, it was horrible.
Someone just said there, Chernobyl, that was a great show. And that is what we need more of. Like the problem was everybody decided that it was okay to let the far left have Hollywood and popular culture because it's only popular culture. You know, educated conservatives were like, no, it's fine. Like, we control the educated people. Like, they can have their shitty pop culture, but pop culture is what controls the people. And I always remember Rome, that fantastic show from about 20 fucking years ago on HBO. Did you ever watch that?
What's it again?
Rome. It was just called Rome. Remember it? Great fucking show. And I remember a bit, well, I loved, because I've watched it like 3 times, it's quality. There's a bit where Mark Anthony's arguing with the senators, and they're all, you know, soft fucking weaklings. And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter what you say, Mark Anthony. Like, we control the Builders Guild and the so-and-so, and we control all the men of quality. He goes, oh, the men of quality, well, I control an angry mob, and they will fucking eat the men of quality. And that's what it's like, that we sort of let them have it all. And something like Chernobyl probably does a better job of educating people about the dangers of allowing fucking communists to run your country and your institutions and your civil service and your academia. That does a better job of educating them than anything I can fucking say or any book they can read. Because that's the shit kids watch. They don't want to sit and read the fucking Gulag Archipelago. They want to watch shit on Netflix. So we need to do stuff like that.
Talking about lefties and Netflix, what's the crack over there? What's the general consensus about ginge and whinge? You know?
Yeah, God.
Yeah, you know, me again, malarkey and the fucking fallen prince.
Well, let me see if I can just find a story about him. Harry and me again.
Although what Trump, did you hear what Trump, you see what Trump said about her this week?
What was that?
Was that when he was asked about it, she had sort of, him and her had basically come on and endorsed Biden.
Oh God, yeah.
About, you know, they were sort of saying about speaking out against fucking hate speech and all that shite, and which was a sort of a swipe at the Donald for being divisive and all that. And he said, yeah, well, I'm not a fan of hers, and I think she knows this, but I wish Harry a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
Well, look, so here's a story about it. I did watch the video. It just says, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's latest political stunt carried out for Time magazine's 100 Influential People. They sat on a bench, spoke of compassion in the global community and the importance of everyone being nicer to each other. And then the US election. As we approach this November, it's vital that we reject hate speech, misinformation and online negativity. Fuck off, ginger fox piss. Fox piss. can fuck off. What I don't understand about this, though, right, is they saw how badly it goes down when celebrities try and tell the general public what to do. They saw how badly it went down with Hillary. And now they're going one step further and using a royal. Like, the Americans have got no patience at all. They view the royals as like a quirky anachronism from a bygone age. And they don't hate them, but they certainly don't want them sticking the nose in America.
Yeah.
And the fact that that dopey, balding, ginger fuckpig thinks that he can come over here and open his fucking yap about the American election it's just a recipe for disaster. Like, if I bump into him, because he lives in LA now, apparently it's a posh house off a hiking trail just down the road. I hope I bump into him. I hope, because I'd love to say, oh mate, because you know they had to be like, they're not allowed to like say just vote for Biden. So they didn't say who to vote for.
Yeah.
But everything, they just used all the buzzwords about hate speech. So what I want to do is, like, because they think we're thick, they think the working class are thick. This is the new left. They think working class people are thick as fuck, don't know anything, don't take care of anything, don't pay any attention. When in actual fact, we know more than them. Because I keep saying, normal people read the newspapers with their fucking breakfast. We know more than these fuckwits who spend all day, you know, in an echo chamber with a load of billionaires talking fucking nonsense. And he won't get the joke. So I hope I bump into him and I'll be like, oh, Harry, you really inspired me and my wife to vote. We're definitely going to vote. And he'll go, oh, yeah, nice one. And then I'll be like, Donald Trump really is, you know, he's rejecting all the hate speech. I want to, like, swing him along, you know, get him on the hook. And be like, I'm definitely voting. He's like, yeah, that'll be like, for Trump. But, like, what a cunt.
Oh, I totally agree. But every time you see him now, he's a right miserable-looking bastard. He's always got this fucking scowl on his face. He just looks the most unhappy fucker who's a multi-millionaire there's ever been.
It happens to the best of us, doesn't it? It's new Minge syndrome. He's got the most aggressive version of new Minge syndrome I've ever seen.
Because as we call it over here, cuntstruck.
Cuntstruck, yeah, he is. He's cuntstruck. That's better. I prefer that.
You know, and it's like, I was listening to Dan Bongino earlier on his interview with Dinesh D'Souza, and he actually come up with a good point, is why if any other Republican president was doing some of the things that Trump was doing, the Republicans would be out to knife him in the back as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact is that Trump doesn't fucking care.
No.
And his theory on it was because he was part of popular culture coming up through. He was in there with the people, and he had no time for all these like special interest groups, all these fucking advisors, filling your head full of wee white mice, full of cow shit.
Yeah.
And he knew how it was, and he just fucking does things his way. And if he thinks it's right, he does it. He doesn't care what somebody's chirping in his ear about, saying, oh, this will not look good. If you do that, you look bad. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Feels right to me. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, again, and like we've talked about, it's they force you to pick a side. And like I said, no part of me 5 years ago liked or cared about Donald Trump. I just thought he's another privileged billionaire who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. But now it's like, if you're going to force me to pick, well, I've picked. And it's like they make me defend him constantly, all the time, because they lie. Like, he says something a bit clumsy because he's an old bloke, and old fuckers always say things clumsy. And then they go on the news and report, like, did you see when he said, just riffing like he is, said something like, oh, who knows what they're going to do? Maybe they'll be like, you know, giving you bleach or something and it'll kill all the viruses in you. He just talked like shit. And then it's on CNN for a week. Far longer than the peace accords, right? So on CNN for a week, Trump says, inject yourself with bleach. Well, he said something pretty stupid, but he did not say everyone should inject themselves with bleach. Like, it's total fucking fabrication. It's, like I said, lying by omission. They pick the sentence they like and then cut it. So it's like, oh, yeah, inject. He didn't say that. And it's like, and I don't want to defend him, but you're making me defend him constantly. Because, and again, I will say against Trump, what I'm trying to, this is my point I'm making to everyone. It's not that I love Trump, that I prefer him to the alternative. It's that I don't really like him either, because I feel like we've been sorely let down in politics for the last 20 years. Trump is clearly a bit fucking daft. He's quite funny, but he's not politically astute. Like, if I was to ask him about, English common law or the Magna Carta, he wouldn't have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. He's not that. He's a businessman. He's not a political activist or a political actor. And I feel like we should be better served by our leaders, so I'm not massively pro-Trump. But I just feel like, again, you've given us no alternative. If the alternative is a globalist fucking shill like Joe Biden, who is demonstrably in the pocket of China, taking money off the fucker, he's literally took billions of dollars off the Chinese's son.
Yep.
Or someone who's merely a bit crass and not that fucking well-educated and doesn't seem to know that much about the world, well, I'll pick that guy. He's not fully in the pay of a foreign fucking power. I mean, how difficult is it? You've got two idiots, and one of them's an idiot getting paid by a foreign power. Fucking who you could have picked.
Yeah.
So I don't.
No matter what they do to try to bring them down, they can't, because it's all fucking made up shit. And now you see all the stuff that's coming out against Biden and Hunter Biden and fucking Obama and all those things, and the way they tried to set him up. You're like, Jesus. It's a wonder if he wasn't the way he was, he'd be fucking done by now. Because I just think he doesn't really give a fuck. No,
I do think, like, with regards to the whole thing with the Russians, you've got to wonder where they get the brass neck to have such a double standard. Because the Russian thing, when we had a massive 2-year investigation, and all of the people, even they were partisan. Everybody knows Robert Mueller was partisan. Yep. No one thinks Robert Mueller's a right-wing Republican. Mueller's a Democrat, and he wanted to find it, and he checked as best he could, and they looked as best they could, and they didn't get anything. And that should have been the end of it. But we're still hearing about it. And again, I'm open-minded and I'm centrist. If they'd found things, I'd have been like, right, what a cunt. But they looked for 2 years, they did the best, and they got nothing. And we're still hearing about Russia. It's like, hang on, you didn't talk about the peace accords at all, but you're talking about Russia for 4 years, even though we had an investigation and we didn't find anything. It blows my fucking mind.
When you see the news that came out the other day too about all the analysts on the case were taking out professional liability insurance because they knew what they were doing was wrong and they were going to get fucked over at some stage.
Shocking.
It's just
oh shit,
it's fucking mind-boggling.
I'll tell you what I will Google. Russia, Biden, because this is something my wife told me about here on the radio, but I didn't hear.
Sure, didn't he take 3.5 million of some billionaire?
There it is, look. 3.5 million wire transfer from a Russian. And hardly anyone knows about it. I didn't. Fucking hell, that's news to me.
And a Russian who's been fucking pictured on multiple occasions with Putin.
Mad, isn't it? So they looked for 2 years and found nothing. And now we've got an open, blatantly obvious story about Hunter Biden getting $3.5 million dollars fucking wired to his account in Russia, and no one knows about it. I never heard that. That was the first I've seen.
Paying for fucking hookers and stuff too. Ugh.
And he's a crackhead. Like, they found him with a crack pipe in his car. Like, honestly, if I was the manager of a McDonald's and Hunter Biden walked in, I'd be like, fuck off. I don't want crackheads in here, you stupid cunt. I wouldn't trust him to sell hot dogs outside the fucking Borough Stadium. Then he's getting $1 billion off a fucking Chinese bank and 3.5 million off a Russian. And let's talk about the Mueller report. What, you mean the report where you found fuck all? Where you had two of the fucking agents texting each other about, we won't let Trump be the president, we'll stop him. Again, they're making me defend him. I'd defend him if he was if Bill Cosby was running the fucking country and these cunts were texting each other saying, oh, the electorate might have picked Bill, but we won't let him. I'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, it's a democracy. He won an election, a free and fair election, and two jumped up fucking little shit weasels from the civil service just go, we won't let him be president. Fucking, I swear, I'd defend him if it was Jeffrey fucking Dahmer. I swear to God.
Yeah. It just made me think of a meme one of my mates sent me earlier, and I'll not show it on screen or we'll both get fucking banned, but it's Mount Rushmore with the faces replaced as Bill Cosby, fucking Weinstein, Epstein, and Biden, and it's Mount Touchmore.
Yeah, good job you didn't put that one on the screen.
Oh, fuck no. I'll probably put it up on Facebook later, and then I'll probably get took down and I'll get banned for a while or something.
Oh, I'm sick of getting banned off Zucker twat.
I haven't been banned once. I've been warned a couple of times, but the first time I was warned was whenever Zucker twat was in fucking giving evidence to Congress, you know, and they said that your post breached community standards, you know, and I just wrote back, you're fucking rich to be talking about me, you know, breaching community standards when your boss is in front of Congress for being a fucking lying cunt.
Do you remember when he was caught on an open mic talking to Merkel? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Merkel said to him, what are you going to do about these people disagreeing? And he's like, we'll sort that out. I was like, what a fucking scumbag. Again, I'll tell you what, every normal instinct on my political life for the last 20 years has leaned left. And when I became an American, I registered as a Democrat. But I'm convinced that Trump's going to win. I don't care what the polls say. I don't care what the fucking fake news says. I'm convinced he's going to win because they've got me, who has no natural inclination for conservatives, totally flag waving for him. Because again, the alternative is just rank corruption, outright lies, mind control, and no freedom of speech. Like, how can anyone, even who's centre-left, vote for anyone other than him when the alternative is rank corruption, cronyism, lies, and like I said, liberal people. This is what I don't understand about them. Liberals are supposed to be freedom of speech, freedom of thought. You know, how the fuck are those people voting for the authoritarian left who won't let you have the conversation? Like I said, the far right, the white nationalists, they love an argument. They will debate the black nationalist. The far left won't even let you and me talk. Like, they say, no, you're too extreme. And it's like, well, I'm not extreme. I'm in the middle. If they're going to decree that everything right of fucking Chairman Mao is wrong think, your only choice is what's left. And what's left is, you know, a crass old billionaire who has nothing in common with me. But it's better than the fucking alternative.
Yeah.
Far better.
I think he'll win too.
I'm convinced.
Because there's so many people are fucking fed up with this rampant, mad left, far left lunatics who are just ramming everything down everybody's throat and trying to, you know, fucking ragging towns, ragging livelihoods, killing people. Like, fuck me. Like, it's like Judge Janine Pearl.
Yeah, I do like
Dave Ribbon. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Where she sort of reckons from having a yarn with Trump that on election night he will probably, if things go all like tits up and they start rioting and stuff, announce the Insurrection Act and then just clamp down. Yeah. Because if he gets in for the next 4 years, he's nothing to fucking lose because that's his last term. Yeah. He's not going to have another one. And if they step out of line and do what they're doing now, it'll just be axe.
I know.
Beds in, everything fucked, you know. Yeah. And
I think the most egregious thing they've done for me, though, what really turned me off after the election, because again, like, when he went up against Clinton, I couldn't vote at the time, but I wouldn't have voted. I just didn't like either of them. But within a week, I knew that he was onto something because they didn't do any self-reflection whatsoever. Like, Clinton fucked it all up. You know, he's a left-wing comedian. You know that Jonathan Pye?
Oh, yes.
That was him. He did a great tirade about it, and everything he said was spot on. I was like, he just talks about it saying, like, they didn't once look inward and say, maybe we did this.
Yeah.
And that's why I have such scorn for the left now. It's like, I'm a strong man, and I've always been raised that way. You know, my dad always told me I was always going to join the Marines. My dad was like, if you ever fuck up, you have to face the mirror. And you have to suck it up and say, I fucked up. You have to own your mistakes. And I don't respect people that don't do that. And they never once looked at themselves and said, maybe we caused this. It was, let's come up with anything we can that avoids us doing some self-reflection. And that's fucking childish. And fucking Hillary Clinton looks about 170. So she should be at least a bit mature. And that is what disgusted me the most. Like, no self-reflection. Not once did they go, maybe we pissed off 10 million liberal people like Bernie bros who wanted the guy and he was clearly winning. So the DNC put a fucking finger on the scales. They leaked the fucking questions to Clinton before she debated Sanders. And I was outraged about that. Like, I'm not massively into Bernie Sanders. I like him more than Clinton.
Oh, well, I like anybody more than
anybody
Clinton,
does.
For fuck's sake.
When,
I would like
seriously.
Dennis Nielsen, fucking Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, any of them.
Clinton.
Ted fucking Bundy. Honestly, though, the first thing you do if you've got any integrity at all, like, fuck me, if me and you were having a pub debate and someone fucking leaked the questions to me, I'd fucking ring you and go, all right, Al, some silly cunt sent me the questions there. Like, that's just immoral. You're going up against someone and you don't do that. And they leaked the questions to her and nobody fucking said anything. So when that happened, I was like, when I heard about that, I was like, no way is Clinton going to win. All these Bernie bros are going to go, that is so fucking immoral. Hillary Clinton can fuck off. And that's exactly what caused it. If it wasn't the bent shit from the DNC and it wasn't Hillary Clinton starting to play identity politics, she would have absolutely smashed Trump. He only ended up losing by about 100,000 votes. But I guarantee, think about it, at least 1 million people must have seen how immoral that was, given the questions to Clinton, and just went, I'm not voting for the Democrats, they can fuck off. There's 1 million, at least. Literally fucking millions of Democrat voters went, that is so shocking, Hillary Clinton can fuck off. Because I don't want to get into this tribalism. Not all Democrats are crazy and not all Republicans are crazy. This is the tribalism I reject. What I think, 10% of each side are a bit nuts and they get to do all the talking. Most Democrats aren't mental. And I guarantee millions of them, when that happened, said, I'm not voting for Clinton, she can fuck off. So they cost themselves the election. The DNC being corrupt cost themselves the election. Hillary Clinton playing identity politics. They did it. And all they did was spend 4 fucking years going, no, it was the Russians. Like, they turned into conspiracy theorists. And then we have a 2-year investigation and they go, no, but it was still the Russians. It's like, so you're a conspiracy theorist then? If you have an investigation for 2 years and at the end of it you go, well, that's still not the fucking reason. You're a conspiracy theorist. You might as well be telling me the moon landings didn't happen. You're a fucking conspiracy theorist. The left became conspiracy theorists rather than gaze in the mirror. And they just filled me with contempt for them. Just totally.
And you think they should learn a lesson from what happened in the general election over here? Because it was all fucking identity politics, all this gender shite. All this far left lunacy and cancel culture and all that. And they got fucking wiped out and fucking Corbynite comes out, but we won the fucking popular vote. Did you fuck? You lost by the largest margin ever.
Yeah.
Any fucking Labour Party, you dumbass.
I know. And then Owen Jones said, well, we won the argument. It's like, no, if you won the argument, you won the election, you silly cunt.
Like, if that's not a fucking representation of how people feel about this fucking madness, what is? Because like back in the day, where you had proper characters as politicians, I was looking at something earlier on. It was about, I think, Dennis Skinner, some song about Dennis Skinner's top of the fucking charts or something.
Yeah.
Didn't read much into it, but there's a picture of him, and there's Michael Foot, and there's Tony Benn. Like, I didn't agree with a lot of what they said, but there were characters.
Yeah, they were.
Weren't far left fucking lunatics. They had their beliefs, but they're the sort of people you could have had a conversation with, and they said their bit. A conservative said their bit, and there was none of this just absolute fucking shite-hoggery that nobody just. It makes me want to fucking strangle people.
How different were they? I always say that. Peter Foot, Tony Benn, I didn't agree with all the politics, but I didn't hate them.
Yeah.
It's like they're entitled to their opinions.
Yeah, they're characters.
Because they don't play the same game that the communists play. They're not I don't think someone like Peter Foot's a communist because they play by different rules. The commies think anything is fair game and destroy your enemies because they're evil. Like, they don't have any. They're so dangerous because they are fanatics. You can see they do think you're evil. You can see why communists kill everyone. Because Owen fucking Jones, someone like him, he would listen to this conversation, he would say, they're evil. They're evil. And if you convince yourselves your opponents are evil, well, you can do anything to them, can't they? All the commies would need is a particularly charismatic leader and we would be going in the fucking oven. Because we just think they're morons. We think they're ideologues. They don't know fuck all before about 1970. They're pig ignorant. But we don't think they're evil. We think they're misled and they're ignorant. If you're fucking right of David Cameron, they think you're scum. And if you think someone's evil, you can kill him, right? Of course you can. You might as well, they're evil. That's what they do. It's fucked up. None of the old left were like that. Peter Foot and, like you said, what's his name? Hilary Benn. Sorry, his dad. Tony Benn. They're all right. They're all right. I didn't disagree. I didn't agree with them, but they were all popular in the Northeast. Yeah. The Beast of Bolsov. What's his name? The fucker.
That's Dennis Skinner.
Dennis Skinner. He's entitled to his opinion. He's all right.
Yeah.
Compared to these fucking... That's how you tell the difference, though. Literally, I've got like a... You know, like gay men say they have a gaydar. I've got a commie fucking radar. I don't know whether it was part of my military training. I can smell them. And I know the difference by how much I hate them. If it's merely a polite disagreement like Tony Benn, we just have a disagreement. If it's a full-blown communist, there's something in me knows. It's like a barbarian being able to smell a witch. I just know. And fuckers like Owen Jones, all the Guardian lot.
I'm sure that fucking man-child Jones, he fucking... Did he tweet something today about... You know, like I had tweeted the thing, you know, the thin blue line badge, you know, with the black Union flag and stuff like that. Yeah. And one of the boroughs in the Met tweeted it as well, and he gave out about this fucking racist meme and how disgusting it was. It was like, fuck. Like that's. I only picked it up because somebody else tweeted it, because I have the fucker blocked, because every time I read anything he says, I want to fucking break stuff.
I'm just looking for... Look, did you see the T-shirt I made for a laugh? Like, I was just fucking about playing with this Redbubble, you know, I'm doing merch stuff. And I made an Owen Jones T-shirt. It's just a picture of his head, sort of like in a little fade out, and it just says, lefty middle-class arsehole. I said that to my mate, and he was like, fucking hell, you're going to be a millionaire.
Jesus, he is an odious little twat.
I'm not selling masks, Robert. Robert says I'm selling, but who the fuck? I'm pretty certain I've put none of my designs on a fucking mask. That won't be happening. So yeah,
maybe
that's
a balaclava.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to put them up there when I don't fundamentally disagree with wearing the fucking things, am I? That must be one of their designs. But yeah, what a fucking wanker.
Oh, he's a horrible bastard.
Horrible. The other one that is good, did you see the police one I made on about the coppers? I did a good copper one, but oh, there it is. Hello, because this is what I was envisaging. This is what coppers should look like. Like that. Good old days. Coppers looked... Oh, there's loads of fucking shit. There we go, there's the design.
Yep.
A big meathead with a fucking truncheon, size 10 feet, and a fucking skinhead. And I even superimposed him over the cenotaph there. That's a cenotaph in the background. But
that's a good one.
Because they're just fucking...
That must have been from the photograph I sent you back in the day, you know.
Yeah, when you were a young thruster.
That's it. Before my chest fell down to my belly because of the fucking steroids and shite.
All right, Robert. Well, if that's the case, that must just because it puts them on. When you're making them, I think if it can fit it on anything, it just sticks them on there. Because there's stuff on there with it's not just t-shirts, it's literally every fucking thing. Like you put a design on, and I think it's everything. There's like shower curtains and fucking duvets and shit like that. But anyway, that's a lot of shite. I don't want to talk about fucking nonsense like that. We'll do one more story because we've done a bit of we've done quite a lot of current affairs today. Let's have a quick look at
the American stuff now.
Oh, the wild turkey. Is that super sweet? Because I'm not as into bourbons as I am Scotch.
It's a wee bit sweet, but it's got a bit more of the darker flavours there, a bit of the barrel char. But the same, it's all the classic flavours like the caramel, the vanilla, all that sort of thing. But it's got a nice little kick to it there, a nice bit of body. Well, if you're only used to the 40%. Or 80 proof, this will, as I would say, put a few hairs in your chest.
You know what? If you look at the most read on BBC, that sort of shows you what's gone wrong, innit? Because we talk about all these big news stories like Donald Trump getting these historic peace accords where you've got countries that have been at war with each other for like a century, and then fucking Donald Trump's gone in there and Jared Kushner's apparently the guy who's masterminded it all, sort of incentivized them to be friends by saying, listen, the Palestinians are going to fucking take you all down. You just need to decide who you like the least, the Iranians or the fucking Jews. It was quite clever politics. They seen what was going on in the region and they knew they could get a foot in the door. And you go to Most Read and the number one is Attenborough breaks Aniston's Instagram record.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Like this is
something.
This is the problem. And then third is this Charlie Hebdo stabbings, and like you've got Bollywood and shit in there. It's like, so we're just not talking about the peace accords.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bollywood instead.
Yeah, it's all fucking wrong. Mind you, having said that, it's quite impressive that somebody that hasn't got their cleavage out has surpassed that fucking record, you know.
Yeah.
So it has, because it's not like Iron Man that sort of you would think of it's going to really fucking set the world of Instagram on fire.
Yeah.
Especially when you see what some of the content is on there.
Oh God.
Even though it is easy on the eyeballs, like.
Yeah, well. That's the one good thing about getting older is you got less testosterone, so you're a bit less in the thrall of pretty women. So one advantage of having a male pattern baldness, it's a testosterone byproduct.
There was just one other thing there. I noticed it during the week. I can't remember the woman's name. It was some black barrister who was giving off about racism in the fucking judicial system because she'd come into court. Was it 3 times it happened to her, and they thought she was the fucking defendant, you know?
Yeah. I did read about that.
How the fuck is that racism? Whenever I was in the Met in particular, towards the end, I used to fly home to see the missus, before we were married, and for a while after we were married. Last night shift, straight to the fucking airport, home for 4 or 5 days, and then back the night before, started duty again. And back in those days, you had the fucking special branch there, so the sort of like watching people. Nearly every fucking time I walked past, I was a bit more beefy then, and the right way, bald head, step forward, right, sir, come here. Just because I looked like a fucking thug,
Yeah.
Then you pull out the warrant card and you're like, all right, sorry, cheers, go on. I thought that was fucking funny, because he's thinking, that boy looks like a right fucking thug. We'll pull him over to see why he's coming over to London to fucking beat the shit out of people,
Yeah.
And it's like, why do people have to play the fucking race card just because? Like, even when I went to court, and I was in court fucking hundreds of times, there was an occasion when I was there, and because you're not on duty, you're not in uniform, you go in with your suit. I
thought you were the defendant.
I thought you were the fucking defendant. You know, right? Who's your solicitor? Who's representing you? And you're like, oh fuck. And you just had a bit of a fucking laugh.
It's just one of them things. It is. It's ridiculous. Again, it's because twofold, right? First of all, you can turn it into money, and humans like money. You can just say, oh, well, I'm so offended, give me some money, that'll make me feel better. So it's really obvious. And secondly is, you can obviously turn that into other forms of currency as well. Like, if you can claim to be offended or stereotyped or anything like that, you can just say like, oh, well, then I'm not at fault for what I do. So it's an instant excuse. You can say, I didn't get the job because I'm black, as opposed to, I didn't get it because I wasn't fucking good enough, or I was late for my interview, or I looked like a scruffy twat and I'd fucking ironed my shirt with a brick. There's loads of reasons to do it. It totally makes sense why they play the race card. But again, what annoys me is in this day and age in fact, we can finish with that. Have you seen the metrics for the white working class in the UK? Like, for a fact that this is true. And they recently published a number. It was on the BBC. And it was about how, like, they are doing the worst. Like, black people are complaining in England, one of the most PC, empire guilt, let everyone do whatever they want countries in the world. So they complain about it. But the numbers, again, the hard data proves them wrong. The fact of the matter is, the white working class are, like, less likely to go to university, more likely to die in police custody, less likely to go to college, less likely to get medical treatment. There's, like, basically in everything that matters, the white working class are losing out to black and minority ethnic people in England.
Yeah. But
And yet they claim that they're the ones that are struggling. It's like, try being a fucking... We know this is true as well in England. We know we're all hand fucking lefty do-gooders because we feel guilty for the fucking our history. And secondly, we're all about class, not colour. The UK is a class society. If you're a posh, upper crust black bloke, they like you. If you're a scruffy northern shitbag like me, they hate you. It's about class. And they go, oh, no, it's because I'm black. It's like, no, you guys are doing better. Lads from Sink Estates in Middlesbrough have got nothing going for them. Black lads are getting everything given to them. I'll tell you a good example, just another anecdote. I mean, I've got all the figures there, hard data, all the metrics regarding like university attendance, college degrees, average earnings, all that type of thing. All of it is stacked against white working class. But just as a story about it, a really good job in Middlesbrough is the fire department. Because you don't need to have a college degree. You just have to be like physically fit. And everyone applies. Like I did, everyone. You leave school at like 16 in Borough, everyone applies for fire department. Say, oh, I want to be a fireman. They literally get like fucking 20,000 applicants. Middlesbrough's white as fuck. There's hardly any black people in Middlesbrough because it's Middlesbrough. The fucking fire department looks like the cast of the fucking Cosby Show. Like I swear down, you have a fucking fire in Middlesbrough, and the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air turns up with fucking Uncle Phil. It's fucking mad as fuck. So don't tell me that they're the ones getting fucked over. Like, it must be. If you're black and you're from Borough, you must be loving life. Like, because every cushy government number, you'll get a fucking foot in the door straight away. So, seriously, don't tell me that we're fucking the privileged ones. Cause...
The inconvenient truth you'll never hear on the media or the likes of that morbidly obese Morgan fucking twat head. You know, it's just like, they'll tell you how many people have been infected with COVID.
No.
But they'll not tell you how many people have died because there's hardly fucking any.
Yeah, it's a load of fucking shite. Anyway, on that note, before I start ranting more and get myself banned, because you're not allowed to talk about facts with regards to race in this day and age.
Jesus, you're not allowed to talk about facts in regard to anything these days.
But like I said, hard facts like that are going to radicalise white working class people. Because if you're in a sink estate and you've spent your whole life sleeping on a piss-soaked fucking floor, and then you get some cunt like Cory Brooker, who's a multi-millionaire who went to Oxford and Cambridge, telling you're privileged, you cunt, and you're like, hang on a sec, I was sleeping on a fucking piss-stained floor last night, you cunt. You've got a Tempur-Pedic mattress. You're going to be bitter and angry and resentful. And I don't know where these communists think. Well, they know what they're doing. The whole thing with Marxism is make people angry and resentful because it'll cause warring tribes and you'll just collapse the entire society you live in. That's what they want to do. And like I keep saying, we can keep discussing the facts for joke and comedy value all aside, but try not to take politics, to anyone listening, try not to take it too seriously. We like to do it for a bit of crack, have a drink, make some jokes, but don't take it, like, get on with your fucking life. Go out with your fucking mates, have a drink, get a fucking girlfriend and go to work, because it's not worth going fucking nuts over.
And make whiskey great again.
Make whiskey great again, yeah, cheers. But it's not worth losing your mind over, is it? It's one of them things. I do think people need to relax and take it with the humour it's intended. Like, you've got to reject tribalism, haven't you? Because if you looked at all the metrics I've just talked about and you embraced it with the same gusto that all these far left students did, we would have civil war on the streets. It would be almost like Northern Ireland at the height of the Troubles. But instead of getting Catholic versus Protestant because of hundreds of years of fucking... well, again, you and I both know the history of that one. That is another thing that's complicated. And anyone who knows anything about it sort of knows to reject extremism, because you're dealing with a complex situation that wasn't of your own making. Because the plantation of Ulster happened in like 1609. I know I'll quite a lot about that as well, right? Because I've been over there and done a tour. It happened 400 years ago. So most people go, you know what? This is fucked up. And I don't think anyone would argue that the initial plantation wasn't morally fucking wrong. But the reason it's complicated and you now have people willing to talk about sharing power is because you go, you know what? This bunch of cunts killed loads of people and took the land off them, but their long descendants don't deserve to be murdered like animals as a result of it. And it's the same thing with everything in life is nothing is black and white, everything's complicated. And if you even think about it for 10 minutes, you can go, you know what? Maybe these people aren't worthy of worthy of death. And this is the route we're going down with Marxism. It's like we've made it about two warring factions. Your enemy is evil and you have to destroy them. And like I keep saying, I'm centre right in politics these days, but you've got to reject the same sort of tribalist attitude, because then you will just get full on. Like I said, it's not inconceivable to me now, after seeing what's gone on the last few years, that you wouldn't get that sort of NI style troubles on the streets in places like England or in America, where you're going to get like, but instead of prods and Catholics, it's going to be fucking communists and anti-communists.
Yeah.
It can go that route if people aren't careful. And if the British police don't start enforcing the law equally, because I mean, that must have annoyed you, and it's annoyed me. They clearly aren't enforcing the law equally, are they?
Oh, no, definitely not. Sure, look what happened today, too. With the COVID, the anti-COVID measures, rally in London, and you've got, well, BLM rallies in London, and the stinkies.
Kid gloves.
The Extinction Rebellion,
Kid gloves.
Oh, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Whatever they want. Bring
And
the
nothing
police.
happens. Anything else? No.
Yeah, and I made a video about that with the numbers. Like, when BLM had their little fucking soiree, there was like 79 coppers ended up in hospital. And then when the white lads, the sort of Football Lads Alliance had one, there was like 9 coppers in hospital. So that number there tells you how violent it was. But the arrests for the Football Lads Alliance, there was like 400 arrests. BLM, there was like 4. It was like that we're not policing equally, and that drives bitterness and resentment. And like I keep saying, if they don't get a grip of this and enforce the law equally and without bias, you're going to get warring people. You're going to get warring factions in the fucking streets. You're going to get the white working class bitter and angry and vengeful, because you've got communists giving fucking kid gloves and the police openly siding with them. So what you're going to get, like I said, like the fucking Red Hand defenders, you're going to get angry, vengeful men forming up into little gangs and taking that shit out of themselves to redress the balance.
Like I've seen it, and this is going way back before it was this bad. Like when I was still over there and I left in 2006, guys who were doing public order duty, central London, some of these, not BLM back there, but Muslim protest sort of things, and they were going fucking mental. And the hierarchy wouldn't let them move in to disrupt it, to move them on, to do anything. And the guys were coming back to the stations and going, why the fuck will they not let us just do our jobs? Anybody else, we would be then read them up, out the fuck.
It's fucked up. So anyway, I'll keep
happy note.
I'll keep segueing into other things, me. I'm a gobshite. As always, I enjoyed it. We'll do it again in a month.
All right.
Last Saturday every month. If you're watching, check out Al's channel. He talks all about booze, and we'll do it again soon.
I need a few good fucking followers in there that like whiskey the right way, and politics the right way too. Bit of crack.
Yeah, I will end and say that is what's pushed me into the arms of the Conservatives, is the death of bants. The left have killed bants. You can't tell jokes, you can't do a bit of piss taking, you can't be rude. Fuck that. I live for the crack, right? It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right, Al, thanks for that. I'll talk to you again soon, mate. And thanks for watching, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Now, how the fuck do I turn it off? I'll figure it out. See you later, Al.
Cheers.